Hello, wonderful Slumber Party listeners. I'm sure most of you know by now, but I want to make the official announcement that Slumber Party is on iHeartRadio on the iHeart Broadway network. So if you're enjoying the podcast, make sure you subscribe so you get a new episode every single Wednesday. And if you want to watch bonus interviews with many of our guests, including Jessica Vosk, Jackie Burns, Alex Wise, Ben Fankhauser, Lemon from Canada's Drag Race, and many more, head on over to my Patreon. The link to that is in the comments, and you can watch those there. In today's episode, I'm talking to the wonderful, the incomparable, the ridiculous and hilarious Trixie Mattel. There's no bonus interview with Trixie this week, so instead I'm going to upload my hour of stand-up that I did all over the US and the UK in 2019. It's really, really fun, and I hope you enjoy it, and I hope you enjoy this episode. Thanks for listening.
He used to wet the bed, but now he doesn't, so let's have a slumber party.
Okay.
You know what that sound means. You hear it every single week. Welcome back.
Everybody
to
knows what that
Slumber
sound
Party.
means. They hear it every episode.
If you guys haven't heard that before, you're just not paying enough attention, because this happens every week. I have this guest come in, and usually she doesn't talk. She just does the ding, 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 ding. Welcome back to Slumber Party Podcast. I'm your host, Tim Murray. This is the podcast where I interview drag queens, comedians, and Broadway stars about their sleepover experiences growing up. And today we have the one, the only. You know her as a literal Melanie Griffith working girl, as the owner of Trixie Cosmetics, creator of so many albums, including Two Birds, One Stone, and Barbara, and of course, the winner of All Stars 3 RuPaul's Drag Race. Please welcome to the stage, Trixie Mattel.
Woo! And the crowd goes mild.
How are you?
I'm so good. How are you?
I'm actually so good too. I'm like majorly an introvert. We were talking a little bit off pod. So I've been really fine with being inside for almost a year now.
Yeah, I can work anywhere. I can be creative anywhere. Obviously, I miss being in front of real people. I miss the stakes of that. I miss the rush. You know, I was on tour up until literally lockdown. So I was on one week, I think I have months of international touring ahead of me. I was supposed to tour until December. The next, wiped. And like this year, 2021, I think most of the touring is going to move to 2022. So like,
yeah,
we're really at home.
We're really sitting at home. Where are you looking forward to going to the most when we get the vaccine and get out?
I just want to go back to Milwaukee. I'm used to being able to go home more, and I have a loft there that I haven't been able to even like spend time at. And I bought my mama a house there, so I want to go like see her moved in, and you know, like, I don't know. I want to be able to go home. Like, if I have all this time off and I can't go, like, get beer and eat cheese in Milwaukee, I don't know what the point of it is.
Yeah, for $3.75.
Yeah, I want a Long Island that is $3 and buy one, get one free that will give me literally diarrhea for 4 days. So that's what I want.
I've never been to Milwaukee, but I want to go. I'm a Midwest bitch as well. I'm from Ohio, and everyone in Ohio loves Milwaukee, but I've never been.
It's lit. You know what I realized? I am Lady Gaga saying I'm a good little Italian girl from New York. That's me talking about Wisconsin. It's so embarrassing. And like, now that I hear myself say it all the time, I act like being from Wisconsin is like saying I'm from like Cabo or something. Like, it's like exotic. I'm like, but it's just the state that everyone thinks is Minnesota. That's the only thing.
That's exactly right. Speaking of Wisconsin, the show that you and I are both watching right now on season 6 features somebody in Wisconsin. From Baraboo. Are you familiar with Baraboo?
I am familiar with Baraboo. I've never been, but I know where it is. I was excited to see Wisconsin represented. I just love, my boyfriend is, my boyfriend's a sultan of reality TV, right? My boyfriend's a movie producer, but he watches every major reality TV franchise. He knows them all by name. He's seen every episode a million times. And I'm always like, you're garbage, right? Because I only watch something if I'm on it. That's the truth. I don't care what people think of that.
Yeah.
So then I started watching 90 Day Fiancé. I forget why. And I got sucked into it. And now I can't really make fun of him for his choice in TV anymore, because I know that I watch like the shittiest, garbagiest, most incredible television show. It's so good.
Exactly that. It's so ridiculous and so like bottom of the barrel TV. And yet I was watching it like a few years ago with my gay boyfriend. I was like, we're watching this. And then there was a season in my hometown in Sandusky, Ohio. And I was like, it was so depressing. I was like, I don't think I can watch anymore. But then I picked back up when I saw you tweeting about it. I was like, I need to reinvest.
Yeah, I love it. And I guess I like it for the obvious reasons. I like that it's formulaic. I like that it's always a 40-year-old doughy white guy and like a 16-year-old Malaysian or Ukrainian woman. I like that like it's always like a chubby white girl and like a really hot like personal trainer / Instagram model who's 21, who's like, I love you. And they're like, okay. I like that there's always it's just red flags, just always, always. And people are just like, he's the one. I love it. I will say, on the other hand, I think some of these couples truly are overcoming a big obstacle for somebody that they actually believe they love. And it's also made me think about marriage differently. Like, your marriage isn't less valid because half the reason you love who you're with is because you get to move to America. Marriage is bogus anyway. And marriage is originally a religious thing that's kind of about controlling women. So like, if you want to get your green card, and you can actually love someone and enjoy your green card in the same world. So I don't think everybody's like, you're out for the money. Half these fucking guys exaggerate how rich they are. And then the girl gets there and is like, bitch, you don't even have a printer. Like, you have nothing.
The one girl was like, why aren't your lights working? Are you poor? That was like the first question she asked.
Are you poor? That was Fernanda.
Yes, Fernanda. That was
Fernanda, who is so beautiful. I love Fernanda. And then her hot husband. Oh my God. Just him looking at the camera being like, I love Fernanda. And she's 18 and he's 31. That's the kind of controlling intergenerational relationship I want to be in. I want someone 10 years older than me and be like, nah. That's what I want.
Tell me what to do. I don't care that you don't have electricity.
Yeah.
100%.
I want to be so submissive that people are worried about me.
Exactly.
Like, my boyfriend texts me to come home and I immediately leave the party. You know what I mean? Like, that's the relationship I want.
Yeah, I want people talking about it. I want people to be like, I'm calling child services on your relationship because he's...
A cock cage? Mama, that's child's play. I want a human cage. What do you mean a human cage? I want to be in a Jack the Ripper, Hannibal Lecter suit with a mask on, being wheeled around by my husband. Like,
bad makeup, bad wig. Forced. Are you watching Search Party? Speaking of being trapped.
If we're gonna be vulnerable,
let's get real.
I love John. I love Cole. I love everybody in that show. I've never seen it. But it's nothing against them. Just haven't seen it.
It's really worth a watch, especially now because it's all on there. It was hard to find for a long time. It was hard to find out.
The original Search Party was trying to find the show.
Yeah. That's literally, how can I find this television program? But now it is all on HBO Max, and Cole has like a huge part in season 4, the season that's on right now. So if you're looking for a binge, I highly, highly recommend it. And it's all about
I love Cole. The Michael Henrys of the world, where it's like, I know it's going to be short and absurd.
Yes.
And like comedic and a little bit gay. I always have time for the Tammy Browns of the world, where I'm like, I always have time for that. I've watched her Christmas special 3 times, and 2 times was after Christmas.
I was just going to ask you, I watched it more than once as well, because it is so, I love a person who takes a big swing. And if there's anything you're going to say about Tammy Brown, is that she takes a big swing.
Yeah, my management, actually, they don't manage her, but they produced this, and they were like, we love Tammy Brown and we want to sell this. And they sold it to Amazon Prime. It's fucking on Amazon Prime. We live in a world where not just drag queens have specials. Tammy Brown has a Christmas special on Amazon Prime. I love that.
It's incredible.
It's incredible.
And Kelly Mantle is so funny in it.
Oh my God. That's my client. Great. Y'all got some Christmas. Y'all got a bar around here. It's Christmas. So good.
So good. Speaking of your boyfriend, he made the movie Moving Parts, your documentary, right?
Yes, my boyfriend is a very high-powered film and TV producer. I'm only half joking because he did Moving Parts, which was a documentary about me that was, very vulnerable to make. Having your boyfriend on the other side of the camera guy and the director. That whole movie was one person with a camera and then my boyfriend kind of following around, listening and watching. That's it. That's the whole movie.
Damn.
And it's such a beautiful movie. I never watch it because it literally is too real. It's like looking at your own nudes. It's very vulnerable, but I think they did a beautiful job. And it sold really well. It sold out at Tribeca, sold out at every film festival, and then it sold to Netflix. And then once it got on Netflix, then like everyone saw it. And it's a really beautiful movie. My boyfriend produced that, and then he just produced a movie with Demi Moore called Please Baby Please.
Oh shit.
Yeah, Demi Moore, Dudley from Harry Potter, Roz from Sabrina. It's like it's a very cool movie. But he hasn't told me much about it because he would never break the NDA. and then he and I have a lot of projects this year coming up. Like he's pivoting to producing some really cool television shows.
That is so exciting. I gotta tell you, I loved Moving Parts so much.
Thank you.
Especially as somebody who watches all of your stuff and loves that you're always leading with comedy. It was so fun to watch such a funny person also be vulnerable. It's like what RuPaul says when it's like, when you show us who you really are, we're gonna fall in love with you. I was like, wow, I feel like I just got like such a cool other side of you that like so many of us who are fans of you don't get to see. It was really special. I liked it so much.
Thank you. Yeah, he did a great job in that movie. What's funny is I'm a drag queen, so I'm like a creature of vanity. So I thought I was in like the Justin Bieber experience the whole time. So then when that movie came out and the tone is, I would say somber. It's a lot about sacrifices you make for your work. It's a lot about the film's a lot about finding a lot of value in yourself because of your work. And ultimately, I think it just has a place in the world because it's the story of a gay person like doing their own thing and succeeding, which is a lot of people I think need to see that. And then especially with some of the Katya elements thrown in, mental illness and substance abuse is the exact things that people usually cut out of the edit. Mm-hmm. And I think it was important to show how that affects a friendship and how people can actually make it through that.
Yeah.
You know,
and we talk about this.
We don't throw away drug addicts or we don't throw away mentally ill people. If that's your friend, that's your friend.
That's your friend. And there's something really beautiful and cool about seeing, again, Katya, also such an amazing comedy presence. Gay people get to have so many sides of them in a thing. Like, yeah. We get to see you guys.
Because as you know, there's
so
not
funny.
Enough content with us in it together.
I can't find anything with you guys. It's like I'm having my own search party looking for Trixie and Katya. I say, is there a book? Are there YouTubes I can look up?
At this point, yeah, there's the book, New York Times bestselling book, the pod, The Bald and the Beautiful. We just had some really good guests. And then we have, which we're going into season 6 of, Queens Who Like to Watch on Netflix. It's just, let's just say if you like Trixie and Katya, I think that people are very spoiled right now. There's a lot of content out there.
And we're fucking loving it. I want to ask you a question about the Netflix series, and if we have to cut it out, I'll cut it out. Did they tell you that, like, sometimes when I'm watching it with my boyfriend, he's like, are they allowed to say that about the show? Like, sometimes you guys are like, what is this?
To be honest, I think sometimes they give us things knowing, hey, this is a very like cheesy Christmas. Like this is Dolly Parton Christmas on the Square. When you tell me Dolly Parton plays a singing homeless person and you don't expect me to like make fun of that, like, not that homelessness is funny, but Dolly Parton playing a homeless person. I mean, come on. It's like burlap, but wrapped very like designer anthropology, like very chic.
Full beat of makeup, just glowing, looking gorgeous.
Yeah, they really let us say anything. Sometimes they'll chime in like, hey guys, maybe try to find a few positives and then still make it funny, but like try to find a few positives. So that's where you'll hear us say things like, I love that actress, or like, we say a lot of things, maybe not about the material, the story, but like, oh, I love the hair, you know. But you know what, though? Some of the shows, let's be honest, are a little corny. And then the comments will be like, this show made me go watch that. So I think it's effective marketing. It's like Mystery Science Theater makes you go watch the real movies, you know.
Exactly.
And but it's kind of funny because Mystery Science Theater was, I always dreamed, before I was on Drag Race, my dream was to do a show that was Mystery Science Theater, but drag queens, so you would see like the outlines of our wigs watching a movie. And it's crazy because of Queens Who Like to Watch. When that was pitched to us, my management, I'll just say it, was like, hey, it's kind of a modest offer. And I don't know, it doesn't really seem like something you guys would be into. And we were like, watching TV and talking about it, this is perfect for us. Like, because we have to make up everything. Netflix, we just get to they pick out the shows for us, and Netflix lets us. They'll say like they'll send us a list of 10 and be like, number 1 to 10, which ones you most want to watch. And then sometimes we request shows, and I will say this: sometimes the stars of these shows don't approve it because some stars don't want to be made fun of. So there's a few A-listers who've been like, I don't want them to make fun of me.
Tara Reid, we're calling you out, Tara.
Tara Reid, it's all about you. But we love doing it. And to be honest, what I love about it too is Netflix lets us say really anything. And if our job was to just sit there and lie and say that everything in every movie was perfect, it wouldn't be fun to do. So when I first started watching the show, and I was like, I can't believe they kept that in. I can't believe they let us say that, because we're not like chained to it's not an ISIS video. Like Netflix isn't standing off camera with a gun. They're like, hey, we have this new content. We like it. It's kind of zany. We want people to laugh at it and get intrigued. Why don't you guys just like react to it? It's really that.
Yeah. And you're absolutely right. Like, zero part of me, I'm not really the demographic to watch Princess Switch 2. But then when you guys did that, I was like, well, now I absolutely have to see this movie. Yeah.
Right. I mean, when you hear that Vanessa Hudgens is playing 3 roles, like she's pulling of the clumps, I'm like, yeah, let's watch this.
Let's get into it.
Because then we'll get things like, what was it? We Are the Champions, which was that people who are just champions at whatever they're good at. That was fun. We just watched a movie that comes out later this month that was like, this is the best movie I've ever seen. So one day we get the Princess Switch 7. One day we literally get like Die Hard or something really fierce. So, or like for Halloween, we got Scream. We got like a bunch of really good classics.
Yeah, I love that. And you're a horror queen, right? You love...
Yes, my boyfriend and I just love horror films. That's kind of like when we started dating, it was just like us on the couch every night watching all of our favorite horror movies. And we've both seen every one of them. So then we're watching, our classics favorites.
Yeah.
My boyfriend's favorite movie is Scream. And I think like when I met him, I was like, oh, that's your favorite movie. Like we're going to be good friends.
That's my all-time favorite feature film. Are you guys both so excited for Scream 5? Or just Scream,
I should say? I hope Kirby's alive. I really want Hayden Panettiere to be alive. We never saw her truly die.
She was a great addition. That's true. She could still be kicking. She was a great addition to Scream 4.
And obviously, I mean, fucking Neve Campbell deserves an Oscar for those movies. And I'm not being like gay and funny, being like, no, you deserve an Oscar. She deserves an Oscar. The same way Sarah Michelle Gellar deserves an Emmy for Buffy. But when it's horror and it's women, they're like, you need to play an HIV positive nurse during the Holocaust to get that award. Because people don't believe that horror is legitimate content. But the great thing about what makes these horror actresses good is they play it like it's real. That's still very like real acting.
It's so excellent. And those movies have that element of camp. And so they're also doing comedy in there. Like, Courtney Cox is so good in those movies.
Oh my God, especially 4.
Oh my God, fantastic. Yeah,
with all her work done. I mean, I'm just going to say it. All her work done. Her with that lip sitting there starting to write her book. Like,
it's perfect Gail Weathers. It's like, yeah, this is exactly right.
And that scene where she's... that scene where she brings Sydney to talk to the class about the movies, and then it's pretty good. It's really good.
I would watch the shit out of those right now. If we were
also, I love that scene in 2 where Courtney goes, she like stands up and walks up to the whiteboard and makes all the connections that it's a copycat killer. I'm like, you better work.
It's so sickening. If you had to rank them, how would you rank them of the 4 we've seen so far?
Well, 1 obviously is the best.
Thank you.
Then, if we're being honest, I love 1. I love 3.
No, you don't love 3.
Parker Posey.
Oh,
Parker Posey as Jennifer Jolie, as Gail Weathers, as Courtney Cox. Like, Inception.
You're obsessed with her, and you're obsessed
with her
daughter.
So good. I love 3, and David is always like, you need to stop telling people that because people are going to think you are like the most stupid person. But I'm like, it's just funny to me. I think that the guy who plays Roman is really hot.
True.
The part where she's being chased through a set that's her house from the first movie. Come on. That's
So good.
amazing.
It's so good. Yeah.
The only
and
thing I don't like about it is like when she sees visions of her dead mom and stuff. I'm like,
yeah,
is this Contact?
it
Like,
turns into like a ghost movie for some of it, and you're like, that's actually not what's fun about these films. What's fun is that it could be anyone of these people, and I need two killers. That's like the fun of the series.
that's true, I guess.
I thought the killer in that
4
one
was
really
also
whack.
amazing.
4, it's so crazy that 4 was good and that it was that good. Like,
Oh my God, the scene where, so they're like, I'm in your closet. I didn't say I was in, or I'm in the closet. I didn't say I was in your closet. And they watch their neighbor get butchered through the window. It's amazing.
it's so good. Even the first opening moments of that, I mean, that was one of those movies where, like, speaking of slumber parties, the reason I wanted to start this podcast was I wanted to talk to gay people about shit that we loved as kids that we like didn't have those other gay people around to experience with. And the screams were one of those things where, like, I would just watch and rewatch and then make like fake categories for what horror movie stars should win awards. Like if there was like a horror movie award show, like I would sit in my room.
There should be. Maybe there
really
is.
should be.
Maybe there is.
Yeah.
I think Scream is it's just like a perfect movie. I mean, that whole franchise, the fact that it could be anyone. I mean, fucking Neve Campbell is such a good actress and she's so strong. And if anybody hasn't seen it, go on YouTube and watch her screen test for that role.
I've never seen that.
Oh, bitch. It's just a little set with an armchair and a fake phone, and it's her as a young actress auditioning for the role. It is as good as the movie in the screen test. Like, period. Incredible. Incredible. And if you don't know, the guy who does the voice of the ghost face does cameos, and you can buy a cameo from him being like, "Hello, Tim." Yes.
Okay, that's incredible. That's really
Isn't that
amazing
fierce?
news. That's really
yeah.
fierce.
For Christmas, I got David. I got him. When my friend makes these dolls called Pigeon, and they're like these custom fashion dolls that are one of a kind. And I had him do, a Casey Cooper. So it's like the blonde wig with the sweater and the phone, and it's a horror film lover's horror movie. That's what's great about it.
Exactly. Infused with comedy, so very female led, and it's one of those like perfect instances where everything fell into place. Kevin Williamson's writing, the direction, and the casting are all literally perfect. Jenny McCarthy in the third one is so great.
Yeah, the shower thing's been done. Vertigo, hello, she is so good.
So good.
When they're doing that phone reading, she's like, "Hello, who is this? Who's this?" Hold on, I have to put my shirt on, or whatever she says. It's so good.
There's nothing scarier than making you laugh and thinking, like, giving you a little bit of reprieve, and then bam, it's so fucking scary out of nowhere. And those movies do such a good job of that.
Dynamics,
honey. If we were
That's why in my show I have like stand up and then once in a while like a sad guitar song, because it's like you get people vulnerable, you make them feel safe, and then you cut deep.
Let me ask you about this. Let me ask you about that. I am obsessed with this idea and very inspired by you. I want to know, were you a theater kid growing up, and or what made you become your own artistic director? Like, what made you go, oh, I'm going to be Trixie and I'm going to make music and comedy and do and drag, and like you're so good at coming up with so much creative work?
Well, thank you. I wasn't a theater kid because I'm from the real country. I probably didn't see a musical until I was like 17 on a school trip. I saw Phantom of the Opera or something. And then I went to college, and I went to college for music. And then music, the curriculum was all like history of music, counterpoint, like 18th century music. And I was like, this is not what I like. Like, I'm listening to Ashley Simpson. Like, I'm not listening to this. So then, I wanted to be a songwriter, and I thought I wanted to be a musician. So all I did was play guitar and write songs. And then I switched to musical theater because I was like, oh, well, I don't really like musicals that much, but if this will teach me movement and acting in addition to music, it'll make me a better performer, period. And so then by the time I finished school, I was like, yeah, I have my foundation of it. I took history of musical theater and had to write lots of papers on musicals and research musicals, but I knew I didn't want to do musicals. So then I was doing drag because it was like my part-time job, then it was my full-time job, and then it was kind of my career. And by the time I had done Drag Race, I was just like lip syncing and doing a little bit of stand up in drag, but mostly lip syncing. I mean, that's the bread and butter of a working local drag queen. And it's a very, very lucrative thing. If you're a good lip syncer, you can make a lot of money. Um, or you can make not great money because you're not a great lip syncer like I was. But so then when I started doing stand up in the show a little bit, you know, I remember I was at a show and this drag queen was this trans woman was naked getting ready. And she was like, I'm not going to be ready. Here's the microphone. You got to go out and stall. And it was like she was pointing a gun at me. I was like, what? She's like, you have to go talk. You need to go fill time. And I was like, oh my God. So I like walked out there in drag and just did it. And I came back and they were like, you were so funny. You should start talking on the microphones. And I was like, I think I am funny. I think I should do that. So anyway, then I just started, I wanted to play guitar and I didn't know drag queens did guitar. I didn't think about it because I was like, well, if I do drag, I'm kind of saying goodbye to the music thing. And then it didn't occur to me to put the two together. And then when I started doing stand-up with my guitar, a little more like inspired by like Sarah Silverman, Jesus is Magic, or like early Adam Sandler or Bo Burnham, I was like, oh, playing guitar and telling jokes in a wig is like, that is really fun. And that's kind of how I started doing that. And then as I got older, the more I was like, the Dolly Partons of the world, the B-52s, there's people telling jokes in wigs playing instruments, and it's not called drag. So like, I don't see myself as limited by being a person in a wig with a penis.
Yeah.
Like, because everybody's in drag all the time. Truly.
Yeah. Yeah.
Everything is a body modification. Everything is a costume. Everything's a lie.
Yeah.
You know? So then it's like, I don't think of myself as like a drag queen infiltrating the real performer space anymore. Now I'm like, I'm as real as a performer as anybody. That's it.
Yeah.
Just a different costume. I mean, Pee Wee Herman is drag, you know?
100%.
And the great thing about Trixie is I could write songs, I could do jokes, I could do beauty, I could do movement, I could stick all these things together in like the Megazord where it like uses all my weird little talents. It's like Slumdog Millionaire. It's like all this shit you ever liked fits here, and you never saw it coming. You know, I never thought I'd play
with that. Sorry, go ahead.
It's crazy, but like I never thought I'd be like playing guitar and drag. I just thought I wanted to write songs. You know.
I hope that whoever is listening to this, I hope that you are taking that information for yourself and feeling very inspired by that, because I know I am. I think a lot of us, especially those people, I think a lot of people who listen to this will be people who majored in musical theater as well, and then try to go into or whatever that is for you, whatever, like your business degree or whatever it is, try to go into a system of, okay, this is what I've seen other people do and this is what works and this is what I have to do. But find whatever that Trixie is in you, whatever that was for you, that was like, yeah, I can be a fucking makeup mogul and I can write and create music and do stand up and go on reality TV. And like, it's fucking, you're killing it. So I hope that.
Well, thank you. I just think I was in school for like acting or whatever. And I was like, I'm not as good at playing other people as I am at like playing myself or like something adjacent, you know?
Yeah.
And Trixie's sort of like really heavily derived from like just my personality. So, I guess I just thought like, I don't think I'm going to be a very good dancer. Like, I don't think I'm going to be a very like a chameleon actor. And I don't have a very like universal singing voice. So like, maybe I could make a thing that fits all that on its own, you know? Yeah. I'm not saying everybody told me no, but like, I knew in college I wasn't showing like a lot of potential in any one area. So then I was doing makeup at the mall and doing drag at night. And I had no idea sort of like creating this sort of beauty character would be like the key to all that, you know?
It's so cool that it has been. Speaking of,
it's crazy. It's really crazy. Sometimes I'm just like, how did this happen? Like, I know it happened because I made it all up. Like,
yeah,
I made this character up. I made all these songs up. I made all these jokes up, whatever. But sometimes it's really like, I just want people to know that like, I don't not notice how lucky I am. I don't not notice how crazy all this is when I'm presenting at the Streamies or when I have a Funko Pop of myself. I'm just like, what? I mean, it's always crazy and it's always really cool.
That's what I find so inspiring about all the drag race queens, all drag queens in general, really. But what made me fall in love with drag race was this idea of finding whatever that is in yourself and having that confidence. Like, I will never forget in Bob's first episode when RuPaul does a workroom walkthrough and she's like, so, you know, how are you feeling about the competition? Are you nervous? And Bob's like, no, I'm fucking funny and I'm going to win. That was like revolutionary to me. I was like, oh, right. Having confidence in whatever it is that you do can fucking change your life. And then
it changes everything. It's literally the most powerful thing you can have. And I was just telling somebody about this. People watch drag, of course, for the feathers and the beads and the makeup, whatever. It's fabulous to look at. But really what you're watching is somebody's unflinching, unwavering confidence in what they're doing. That's what's addictive to watch. That's what's inspiring to watch. That's why it's universal. You don't have to do drag or wear makeup or own gowns to be inspired by it. You're like, that person really believes it. And because they believe it, they're making everyone in the room believe it. RuPaul, you want to make more money, wear a suit. I mean, in drag, you basically dress like a hot person, a rich person, a famous person, and you collect all that privilege because you just changed the narrative.
Mm-hmm.
I'm a hot, rich, famous person. Right? And the room goes, you're fucking right. You sold me on it.
Yeah.
I mean, you're just a liar. And then you realize you're a liar. Drag is lying. And then you realize everyone's a liar. All musicians and actors and models and stuff, it's all lies. It's all makeup and smoke and mirrors and lies. So it's like, well, yeah, we're all just using lies to suspend that we're a celebrity or we're a thing, you know? The more you embrace that the system is like based on nothing, the more you're like, well, I could do that.
Exactly. And
being
that's
famous
how you
is just walking in and saying, hi, I'm famous. Like, that's what it is.
I heard this amazing story one time from, he's no longer with us, but this awesome fucking producer, when I first moved out here, he like took me to lunch and was like, he had seen me in a show in New York. So he was like, I'll introduce you to some things. And he said, he goes, you know, I met Tom Cruise before he became Tom Cruise. And I was like, okay. He said he walked into my office as a nobody and was like, hi, I heard you're doing the movie Footloose. I'm going to be the lead in that movie. He was like, who are you? What are you doing here? And he was like, I'm an actor and I know I have what it takes. And I really need you to see me for this part. And same with Elizabeth Berkley in Showgirls. Like, that part was going to go to Charlize Theron. And she called the producers and she said, you don't understand. I am Nomi Malone. You have to give me this role. It is me. It's that kind of confidence. And then to go back to that other story, Tom Cruise got cast in Footloose and then turned it down to do All the Right Moves. And so that's why it ended up being Kevin Bacon. But both those stories of both those actors, it's just because they believed they were that bitch.
It's just about confidence. I mean, we talk about it all the time at Trixie Cosmetics when we're working on product. It's like, of course, we want to make a high quality formula with fun packaging. But really, we don't work in the beauty industry. We work in the self-esteem industry. We work in this industry that makes you see yourself in a way, and then you project that energy. So people don't see, oh, now I see a woman in a red lip. They're like, I see a confident person, you know, because you feel it. And the energy just vibrates into the room. It's so like hokey pokey LA, stick a crystal at my ass, but like, you can feel that. You can feel the energy. Every time I've auditioned for something and I've known I was going to get it, I got it. Every time I wasn't sure and I was like, ugh, it's not right for you, but whatever, your job is just to audition, just do it. I never get it. But whenever I'm like, no, this is a good idea and I know that the time is right, it's always happened.
It happens.
Because you believe it. You can't get it without believing it.
Peter, who used to host this podcast with me,
don't know him.
Don't know. I'll have to introduce you to him. He's very
don't know him.
Bland. He sold 3 television shows this year. And he said that when he talks to the people about how it happened, they all said, like, everybody has good ideas for TV shows. This is fucking LA.
Everyone.
You sold those shows because you made us believe it. Like, that you were the one to do this idea. Like, everybody has the same fucking idea. But he walked in there like, yeah, I'm fucking confident and I'm gonna sell this to you. It's like, I will sell this house today. It's that
It's 100% that. I mean, when we did, I called World of Wonder and said, I want to do a version of Fashion Photo Review where we review their looks. And they were like, are you sure? I was like, yeah, it's going to be great. And then it was great. So like sometimes it's just believing it, or like, I don't know, my first record, Two Birds, looking back, I'm like, you're crazy. You really put out a country record as a cross dresser and you expected it to at all do anything. But there was something in me that was like, this is fine. Like this music is good and people are going to get over the shock of it and they're going to like it. And then when it worked, I was like, I knew it. I didn't know it, but I knew it. You know,
It's that. Yeah.
I lied awake worrying, but I knew it. So I don't know. I think in every area of life, we should all just feel like it's okay to be confident. It's okay to enter every room being like, I love myself and I'm good at what I do. And everyone should feel good that I'm here. I don't know. Like, I know that that's not relatable content, but like, that's how I always feel. I always feel good.
Good. And honestly,
know.
make it relatable content. Like if you're listening to that and that's not relatable to you, it's a mindset, baby.
Yes,
Make
it's
that
okay to
relatable
like
you.
yourself. It's okay to like yourself. It's okay to think that you're smart and cool and talented and fun to be around.
That's the
It's
only
also okay to be
way.
wrong about that. Like, but you should still think it.
Yes. If you want to be somebody, if you want to go somewhere, you better wake up
You
and
better
pay
wake up
attention.
and pay attention.
My
Exactly.
sister and brother are 6 and 8 years older than me, and my sister, 8 years older than me, was that bitch. She looks like Reese Witherspoon. She was like on the basketball team, but also was like a cheerleader in junior high, gorgeous and cool and popular. And I was like chubby and gay and afraid. And I remember going into junior high, I think when she was in college, and being like, how were you popular in school? And she looked me right in the eyes and she
She was
said,
like, well, I didn't look like you, fag.
she's like, first of all, straighten your wrist, bitch. Second of all, learn how to
Stop flat ironing your hair at 250 pounds.
and get that number 2 pencil out of your ass. And but she was like, she was like, first of all, get gorgeous. But she was like, I'm not necessarily the most gorgeous girl at school or the funniest or the whatever. I'm the most confident. She was like, you have to think that you are cool and then other people will. And it's so
Yes.
true.
I mean, I'll admit it. I get to do a lot of cool things as Trixie that I know are opportunities that do not come to every drag queen. And I feel always very fortunate. And I always know it's like, this didn't come to me because I'm the best singer or the funniest or the prettiest with the smallest waist or like, you know what I mean? It's like, there's a lot of other things involved. It comes down to coming up with ideas, putting yourself out there, auditioning, thinking of trying to see white space of like what's empty, what could be created here. I mean, ultimately, everybody's talented, and especially in drag, anybody can be beautiful. Anybody can buy a nice wig and do nice makeup. Like, the drag isn't even the part of it. The drag is the Trojan horse of it. You know what I mean? It doesn't even matter.
Yeah.
And once you realize that, you're like, I can do anything. Also, I'm allowed to do nothing. Like, you don't have to do anything. You don't like, you don't owe anybody an earnest demonstration of like, I'm the best. You can just like sit home and do nothing. Like, so that's why when you do want to do something, believe it because you're doing it for yourself. Like, I don't know. I don't want to be a motivational speaker, but I think that sometimes this stuff that people have such a hard time manifesting is so cut and dry.
Michael Henry
You
and I
are
talk about
great.
that all the time.
You are great.
You are great. That's all that it is. As so much of last time you came on this podcast, I was very deep in the stand-up world, and hopefully one day I will be doing that again. But
Girl.
since the pandemic, I've been like going back to just the shit that I love. Like I was making a reaction video to Elphabuzz and like trying to guess.
Oh,
who
I
these
saw it. It was
Elphabuzz are.
crazy. You are mentally ill for knowing who all those voices are.
I do have a very deep sickness. And if there are any doctors out there that know about this illness, I would love your
I
help.
think that being a wicked gay is actually a step further than being a Disney gay.
It's
You know?
really, it's deep. It's a deep.
Like if you've ever stood on a step stool and gone, it's me, you should be in jail.
Lock me up, baby. Lock her
You should
up.
be in jail.
Lock her up. Because that it's all I ever do. But I'm like, I was afraid to put that shit out on the internet because I was like, I don't want to, like I'm a legit stand-up comedian. I don't want to be seen as a musical theater fan or like a Disney gay or a Wicked gay or like I don't want to be doing reaction videos is what I was thinking in my head. And then it's like, Michael Henry smacked me out of it and was like, "You're a stupid bitch. Like, do what is making you happy." And of course, as soon as I start putting that stuff out, now this podcast is picked up by iHeartRadio, and like things open up for you when you actually just be yourself and do what you want to do.
Yeah. I was just watching, I don't know, everybody I love did something that like at first was like, that's weird. And then they were like, oh, just hold on. Like, I love the B-52s.
Mm-hmm.
Those bitches did something no one did and no one has done since. Like, they were like, let's do call and response party surf rock music that's comedy, and also we wear wigs. And the world was like, okay, like, this is good. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
People who just, they see something that doesn't, like the RuPaul. I mean, they saw something that just didn't exist and was like, I'm going to do that. That's cool.
Yeah.
And then when you think it's cool, Melissa Edwards says, Mama, you can't buy it, or no, you can't sell it until you buy it yourself. You have to have bought it. You're like, oh yeah, this is cool.
Mm-hmm.
And that way, at least, even if it flops, you loved it. Then there's really no shame. And like, every time I put out a record, I'm like, oh, if this is the one that doesn't chart, I'm going to be disappointed. Like, it's going to be sad if it doesn't work, whenever. And it's like, once you just get comfortable with what you like about it, you're like, oh, okay, if it doesn't chart or people don't buy it, at least I stand by it and I love it. You know? Every time I make a lip color, I'm like, if this is the one no one buys, I guess I have thousands of it as a backup because I love that color. So,
right. There's nothing worse than when you don't believe in something and then it doesn't work out and you're like, because you were trying to do what other people wanted to see. You're like, yeah, no, I just got to fucking do the thing I want to do. And then hopefully people will come. And like you're saying, if they don't, I still like it. And that is the most important thing.
Yeah. Like, you almost have to troll the world with your choices. Be like, I hope they don't like it. I hope it's too much. You know what I mean? Like, nobody's ever going to tell you, we didn't like it because you made too strong of choices. That doesn't happen.
You're too unique. This was, too much of yourself.
Right. That doesn't happen.
No.
So I think that confidence is, like you said, which is how we started this conversation. Drag is fun to watch because it's people believing what they're doing. That's just what the whole general feel is. Of course, it's framed like a competition. Of course, people are dressed up like Muppets, but they believe it. And that's what's fun to watch. They believe it.
That's what I love about Lip Sync for Your Life, too, is like, this is a competition for who believes in themselves the most. Like, girls can do reveals, they can do whatever, but like when you're watching two people up there going head to head, it's like, which one of you thinks that they are? And that's why it's always fun to watch when a girl looks to another queen. It's like, to me, it's like swimming in a race or running in a race. You can't look over your shoulder at that other person. If you look at what they're doing, you're out of it for a second. But like, if you're just,
I'm not somebody who wins lip syncs on Drag Race, so I'm not here to coach people on how to win. I will say you have to lip sync it like when you watch the lip sync, you can tell one of them believes they're winning this and one of them doesn't. That's usually what you're watching. Or when they're amazing, it's because they both believe they're winning. You know?
Yes.
That's when the really good ones are. That's when it's like two tornadoes just swirling around each other. It's just like, whoa.
Exactly. That I drove all night, one on Canada's Drag Race with Priyanka and Kiara. That's what it was like. It was like, oh my God, this is watching two people just absolutely live.
Shut Up and Drive. Alyssa and
come
Tatiana.
on, that one is.
Those people both were like, I'm winning.
I show that video to people who don't know anything about Drag Race and don't know anything about drag queens. I'm like, you need to understand why we're all so obsessed with this.
Yeah, that show taught me a lot. I mean, I didn't have this kind of like, I don't want to say confidence, but like, I didn't feel like anything was possible when I first did it. And, you know, having competed a few times and like, that just all comes with experience. It comes with throwing spaghetti at the wall every day. And then you're like, oh no, I know this noodle will stick because I've seen it happen, you know?
Yeah.
I guess I'm just really smart and beautiful and everybody should listen to me.
I'm thinking that as well. And as the person on the other side of this call, I think I'm just also really gorgeous and really intelligent. And I think you guys should be taking notes at home. Speaking of...
everybody should, people always are asking, I know that Trixie's like a very confident character and people are like, you just like your energy. How do you just feel that? I'm like, how don't you? You are amazing. Like we
Yeah.
all are the same.
Yeah.
Nobody's really better than anyone. Like
Nobody's better than you and nobody's worse than you.
you're just like, what is it? Like 12 quarts of water or whatever is in a human body, and like
Mm-hmm.
some proteins and some nothing. Like it's not that serious.
It's
Nothing's that
not.
serious.
It's not that serious. Okay, if we were at a slumber party together right now, what movie would you want to put on?
For you and I, it's just us. If you I'm always down to watch Jawbreaker. It's one of my favorite movies.
I,
Clueless is another one of my favorite movies.
of course.
And let's say if we're gonna be like um a real like slumber party movie, there's this film coming out on Netflix called I Care a Lot, and we just watched it at work. And it doesn't come out yet, but it's so good if you want to talk like a horror thriller. It's with Diane Wiest,
Oh, always so
and
good.
it's about the systems in which the government, the judges, the social workers, etc. This is a real thing. They identify old rich people, and they go to court and say that they can't take care of themselves, and they seize their assets, their homes, they liquidate everything, and they put the people in old folks' homes and just like give them pills and like make them think they're crazy. This is like a real secret black market business, and this is the first movie about it. So you have to watch it. It comes out this month.
Okay.
I'm a Netflix spokeswoman.
Yeah. She's working for the Netflix.
Yeah.
That's incredible. Okay, I can't
Or
wait.
maybe you and I could go watch some back episodes of Buffy.
So
Just
my
something
boy,
light. Put on the popcorn and let's put on the body and just vibe.
and just chill. My
Yeah.
boyfriend has never seen it, and the body kept almost coming up where we were watching that season, and I was like pacing the room being like, how am I gonna prepare him for this? That
It's so much. Did he cry?
he did cry. He did
That
cry.
episode is so. I cry at there's a few parts every time I cry. The part where Giles comes finally and she yells, "We're not supposed to move the body." Like, oh, that all one take.
One
How does she
take.
not have an Emmy? I feel like it's gonna be me, like me, you, and Evan Ross Katz storming the Capitol. But we're gonna have to storm Fox or whoever owns Buffy and be like,
Get this bitch an Emmy.
yes,
She
it's just incredible in that episode. And then the part where Dawn asks, "Is she cold?" Like, oh my God.
It's so good. Did you like the season 5 finale?
Yeah, I watched it. I started watching it after it had been on television.
Okay,
So I
okay.
knew it didn't end. Had I thought that was the ending, I think I would have been mad.
That's exactly what Michael, my boyfriend, felt, because I saw that in time. And in time, when I was in like a 8th grade or freshman in high school or something, they were billing that as the series finale because the show was about
Right.
to move to UPN, whatever. So WB was like, this is the end. So when I saw that as like a 14-year-old, I was like, oh my God, she saved the world a lot. And that's the last time we're going to see her. So now rewatching it, it's a little like, oh, knowing there's 2 more seasons, it's like,
Yeah. And what is it? Becoming, or what's the one part 1 and 2 where they bring her back from the dead is such a good couple episodes. It's just such a great show. I mean, my boyfriend and I both love it. We haven't rewatched it together ever, even the 5 years we've been together, because we both seen it so many times. I've probably seen it the whole series. This is gonna sound crazy, whatever. Probably 20 times.
20
15, 20
times.
times.
I'm
Yeah,
honestly worth
in
it.
high school, I used to go buy the box sets of it from the Sam Goody. And I lived so far in the country, we didn't have cable or anything, and I would just watch those over and over again.
Was there anything more exciting than getting a boxed set of a DVD and just seeing her gorgeous face on the cover and she's like just kind of looking out of the corner of her eye?
Yeah, I remember buying season 1 just because I think it was $20 because it's only 12 episodes. And on the cover, she just had that honey blonde hair with that steak. And I remember being like, ooh, I want to see what this is about. This seems fun. And I was just taken by that show. Taken by it.
Pulled me right in. Charisma Carpenter as Cordelia, like so funny. Like has something that you like can't really teach people. It's just and then Emma Caulfield as Anya, also just like that to me is what makes why I love like Buffy and Scream. It's not just the horror fun camp of it. It's like I was also like learning about comedy through these
Yeah.
women. Yeah.
Yeah, it's just such a funny program, and I know that I don't want to say that it's underrated because I know that it has a legacy that is like kind of unprecedented with TV shows. It's not like The Sopranos where it like changed television permanently and like changed what TV shows could be, but it was almost like ahead of its time. Like
It truly was. It's so
the
queer.
American Horror Stories of the world, I don't think could have happened without like Buffy happening. Like, come on.
Exactly. And back then, shows like that didn't have budgets like that. Do you know how much it costs to dust one vampire?
No.
$5,000 to do the like. But think about how many times they dust a vampire in an episode. It would be like,
Well, the quality changes. In the beginning, it's nothing. It's like little specks flying, and then
Yeah.
like the finale of Seven, and that scene when she swings that axe and beheads 3 of them, and they all dust, and it's in slow motion. I'm like, you better work. That was some of the ways that they kind of made the skin deteriorate to the bones, like from the inside. It's pretty amazing. And then not to mention the makeup artistry on Buffy the Vampire Slayer. Every week, those people on a budget had to turn out completely different monsters. That's crazy. Not to mention custom teeth for all the main actors, custom forehead pieces for all the vampires. Like, what? This was a network. I mean, they're doing what Gilmore Girls does, but they're adding basically Marvel to it.
exactly.
Like, what?
Yeah.
It's crazy.
Hour-long episodes. Yeah. It's really wild how good that show is.
It's amazing what they did with, I'm sure, limited resources at the time. I'm sure it was a show that they had to convince people was going to be good. I'm sure it was like, you want to make a TV show off a flop movie?
Right. That movie did not do shit. I love
No.
the movie, but it was not exactly a hit.
Well, wasn't Christy Swanson a Trump supporter?
Yeah,
Did I
big
make that up?
time. No, she's big
Yeah,
time.
fuck her.
Yeah, fuck her is right. Get out of here.
She could have been at DragCon signing things, but she plays too much.
It truly, like, she really could have made like a nice killing for herself. But
Call to action. Every woman who's ever been in like a cult film, go to DragCon, do a signing. You want to get reminded that you are a star, go to DragCon. Like Julie Newmar did DragCon. Like all kinds of like really iconic female stars do DragCon. And like, if you just want to go feel famous,
think
like if
about how
fucking
much
Emma Caulfield went and did DragCon, it'd be over.
Exactly. Think about
Granted,
how much
she's on WandaVision. I'm not saying she's not a star, but like, if you just want to go feel famous, go to the gays. Like, they will let you know that you are a star.
that is exactly right. Julie Benz. Imagine Julie Benz at DragCon, the girl who was the blonde in Jawbreaker.
I've seen her before. I saw her on Santa Monica once.
Did you scream?
I didn't scream. She looked so beautiful. Her face is just perfect. And she was, yeah, I saw her. It was cool. I was like, my mind was like, is that Foxy? Is it Darla? I just like couldn't decide which I was looking at.
Who do I love more? Do you know she was almost Buffy? It was
I would
between.
have loved it. She's a fabulous actress.
Her, the actress who plays Harmony, who is everything.
Yes.
She's so good. And it was between her and like 5 other blonde actresses that you see throughout the show. And Joss Whedon thought they all had such good auditions that he just like writes them into the show throughout the 4 seasons, which I think is so fun.
That's great. Mercedes McNabb, she turns the fucking party in every episode she's in. It's amazing.
She's so good, and so good in Addams Family Values.
Yeah, oh yes, of course. She is so good in Buffy. Oh my God.
It's everything.
That part where she's smoking and Spike's like, you smoke now? And she's like, yeah, I'm evil. Hello. Like,
I'm evil. Hello. It's so good.
like that's an example of somebody making really bold choices that just work.
Yeah.
I imagine they called her and
swings.
said, that high school character you played a few years ago, or like, you know, a year ago, whatever, she's going to come back, but she's going to be a vampire. And she was probably like, that is the funniest fucking thing I've ever heard. Especially since they made her like the only vampire whose personality like doesn't change.
Yeah.
She's not evil because she kind of already was.
Yeah.
It's fierce.
When they see her again in season 4, you don't know that she's a vamp yet, and they're like, Harmony, and she's like, oh, I haven't seen you since graduation. Big snake, huh? And that's all they say.
Yeah.
Like,
Big snake, huh?
Big snake, huh?
So funny.
Do you remember your first kiss?
Yeah. Okay. My first kiss. I have 2 first kisses.
Uh.
One was kind of gross. One was there was this guy. Okay, this is like This is like, okay. There's this guy I used to talk to on the internet who was significantly older than me. And maybe one time in high school, maybe one time I said I was going on a school trip, and maybe he picked me up from school and took me to a cabin in the woods and I could have been murdered. So that was like a first kiss. And that was pretty wholesome. Nothing bad happened to me. I think that he genuinely wouldn't have hurt me or anything. But so that was pretty nice. And then my real first kiss was freshman year. In my dorm room with my first boyfriend who I met on Facebook in like a college chat room. Like, I'm new at college. And we were kneeling on my computer and we were listening to Dashboard Confessional.
No.
So yes, I am part Caucasian. Yes, I am.
Yes, you sure are.
But it was actually really nice because we dated for 2 years. We lost our virginity together. It was a very mutual, loving. It was as far as for gay people, I feel like that's losing your virginity in your dorm room to someone you love is pretty unprecedented.
Yeah, that's pretty special.
Most gay people are like, oh, I was blackout drunk and sex was forced upon me at a pride.
Right.
You know.
Yeah. So yeah, the love of a dorm room. And is there anything more special than those first couple weeks of college when you're like, nobody knows me here? I remember looking around at the buildings and being like, I'm gonna be a faggot here.
I'm about to fucking tear the paint off this walls with my hole. Yeah.
100%. I was just like, there's nobody who's gonna be talking about me in the lunchroom. Like, I can just suck dick here.
I was a weird kid. I was in college. I wore all vintage clothing and all secondhand. And I had a big mop top of hair. And I played guitar and wore a light smoky eye. I don't know what my fantasy was. I dated a hipster. And so I got really I was like a bandana and I honestly I dress now, like a flannel and corduroys and cowboy boots. And I worked at a cigar store and played guitar. I don't know who I was, but
a cigar store.
Yes. I worked at Famous Cigars on Brady Street in Milwaukee, which is still open. And I was 18 years old selling cigars. I never even smoked a cigar.
How did you do it? Were you just like, this one seems like a good one? It's brown.
Oh, I was a terrible employee. I was fired. But I remember people what does it taste like? I'm like, smoky. You light it on fire. Or they'd be like, oh, this cigar is a Cubanito. What's that like? And I'm like, the box would say smooth and cool. And I'm like, that's smooth and cool. Just making it up. But then when I went to, eventually went on to sell makeup, I was like, well, now I can sell something I actually know about. This is going to be a walk in the park. Questions I actually have answers to.
Perfect. It's now the part of the podcast we like to call, wait, let's have fun.
Okay.
This is where we play slumber party games. I have made a very special cootie catcher for you, Trixie. Do you remember these?
Oh. No, we called it a fortune teller.
Oh, a fortune teller, or cootie catcher, fortune teller. It tells your future. But this is a Trixie Mattel version where I only have your specific future.
Oh, wow.
So go ahead and pick a color.
Okay, yellow. That's one of my favorite colors.
YELLOW. 2, 3, 7, or 6.
3.
1, 2, 3. 1, 5, 4, or 8.
1.
Okay. 1 says.
This is fun.
Isn't this so fun?
Yeah, it is.
It's like bringing full 90s realness. Okay. In your future, Trixie, it's the year 2030. And there are so many versions of Drag Race that Rue has named you the host of Drag Race Pasadena.
I would be honored. I'd be so honored. I want to be like Drag Race, Potomac or something. Give me a weird city. Yeah. Drag Race Tallahassee.
I do feel like we are headed in that direction where it's just going to be it's going to truly take over the world. Every state will have their own Drag Race.
I can hear the local radio ads in Wisconsin, it's me, Trixie Mattel. Come on down and watch Drag Race Baraboo, Wisconsin.
Okay, that makes me really want to watch Drop Dead Gorgeous with you. I feel like that's
Yes,
the other
that's
perfect
another really
intersection.
iconic film.
Yeah. So,
I think for gays in the Midwest, I always say it's our Mean Girls.
it really is.
Mm-hmm.
With like such a special twist that, again, ahead of its time, like people weren't ready to be watching girls blow each other's tractors up. But now I feel like if that came out, it would be like the teens love horror. They love that kind of thing. But like people weren't ready for it.
People don't. I mean, I love Christopher Guest movies. That movie's as funny or funnier than any of those Christopher Guest movies. And it is. It should be. Sorry, Kirstie Alley, incredible. Kirsten Dunst, incredible. Brittany Murphy, Amy Adams. Like, that movie is amazing. A mockumentary about a small town beauty pageant where people are being murdered. That is so funny. That is so funny.
Good. Alison Janney, Ellen Barkin. Like, it's really. And I love the Christopher Guest movies so much. I'm a huge improv nerd as well. But Drop Dead Gorgeous literally has like punch after punch after punch. Like, the hits don't stop coming.
A joke a second.
Yeah.
I think that's why some people don't like it, is because it's a little smart.
Yeah,
Like,
exactly.
movie's a little smart.
Most smartest.
You have to be smart to make fun of stupid people like that. And also, it's the story of like a girl from a small town who, like, the ultimate story of it is good things happen to good people. Like, you know, she only survives that and becomes like, she gets her dream of being like a Diane Sawyer because she's just a good person. Everything she does in that movie is like to be a good person and, you know, work hard. And that's why other people around her do not succeed.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, and it's what you said is so true. It's like, it's so smart. It's like the elevated humor of the like excellent comedy like The Simpsons, but directed toward teenage girls. And I think there was like such something got caught in the crosshairs of like the marketing of that movie, and because that has become such a gay cult hit.
Yeah, but I will say, you'd be amazed how many people haven't seen it. Like, and I used to watch that movie, like, I don't know, once a month in high school. Like, that movie I'll never get sick of it. It's so good. The performances in it are so good. And I think I read somewhere that Kirstie Alley was only available to shoot for 2 weeks. So they got all her parts in like 2 weeks in the movie. Like, it was a really short shoot, a very low budget movie. But like, I was listening to an interview with Kirstie Alley on Sirius XM, and they said, when did you know the power of your storytelling? And she said, never. And they said, what do you mean? I mean, you're a celebrated artist. And she goes, no, everything I think is great material, I go against people's recommendations and I do it. She's like, Interview with the Vampire, when it came out, people panned it, they hated it, and now it's a respected movie. Drop Dead Gorgeous, people hated it, and now it's like a iconic movie. Bring It On, people hated it, and now it's like, she's like, I never get credit for any of these parts that ultimately become like iconic classic films, but when they come out, they get shit on.
Ooh, that's so good. That's so interesting.
Yeah, it's pretty crazy, but I love her, and she's so good in that movie. She really is.
Again, honestly, Oscar nominee worthy. And
Yeah.
I'm not
Oh,
kidding.
crap. Oh, crap.
Oh,
So
crap.
good.
You're all a bunch of losers.
Oh,
It's
my God, yeah.
so good. Okay, we do one more.
Yeah.
Okay. Yellow, blue, red, or purple?
Red.
R-E-D.
Red, because Red Scare just sold out again.
Oh, hello, Red Scare.
Let's do one.
Okay, 1. 7, 6, 2, or 3?
3.
3.
Woo!
Oh, your future. Okay, the bearded daddy from the Great British Bake Off dicks you down.
Oh, yay!
But it
Hollywood.
does give you a yeast infection.
That's fine. It's
Worth
the Great British Bake Off. I can use all the yeast I can get, honey.
That's right, honey. As we were watching you and Katya react to that, my boyfriend and I were both like, that man is so fucking hot. And as we were saying it, you said it.
I will say, I can't believe Netflix kept some of that violent sexual talk that I was doing in there. Like, I want him to dick me down till I'm like, my eyes pop out and I can't move. Like, I'm like, wow, I'm really gross.
They said this one is for the gays. For the
times
gays.
like that where I know like my boyfriend's family watches a lot of things I'm in, and I'm like, I hope they skip this one.
I'll let you go after this, but can we play one Marry Fuck Kill?
Yeah, sure.
Okay.
Great drag name, Marry Fuck Kill.
That is a great drag name. You, Trixie, have to marry, fuck, kill dolls, Dollywood, and dollars.
Oh my God. We fuck the dollars. We fuck the dollars. No. We marry the dollars. You marry the money, and then you fuck Dollywood. I guess you have to kill the dolls because Dollywood is really magical.
I've never been.
It's so worth it. Anybody out there? It's Disney without kids, and the theme is it's like Disney if the theme was like the Appalachia. It's like, and there's country musicians standing around playing. There's just country cooking. Like you can tour Dolly's tour bus. There's a museum of Dolly Parton's life with like all her costumes over the years. I mean, it's really worth the money. The only thing is it's in Pigeon Forge, which is 2 hours out of Knoxville. So you have to fly into Knoxville and drive there. So it's kind of far.
That sounds worth it though. I grew up next to Cedar Point. That's my hometown. So I also performed there in college. So many people would perform at Cedar Point in the summer and then go perform in Pigeon Forge, and they're like lifelong amusement park performers. And they made like a hell of a living and just get to like live their lives at between Cedar Point and Dollywood. And they're like, my life is great.
What kind of performing did you do at the park?
I was doing the singing and dancing. I was doing a bit of singing and dancing. Yeah.
Was it like show choir energy?
I want to say
like
yes.
Reviews of popular music.
It was that energy, but when I tell you this Cedar Point show that I did one that was like a Halloween show that was super corny, and I was like, in a werewolf costume. But we did one summer that was all 50s, 60s, and 70s music, and when I tell you, I think it's like the best show I've ever seen. Like I rewatch it now, and I'm like, okay, we were Broadway. It was a 22-minute theme park show, but we were Broadway.
Am I Carrie Butler?
Xanadu Tony nomination, give it to me right now. And some of these girls, like, when you just like meet a 21-year-old girl who happens to have the most amazing singing voice you've ever heard. It was like five of them, and they're just like skrelting their asses off singing River Deep and Think by Aretha Franklin. And we're just like sitting in the back, like doo-wopping. And to this day, I'm still really close friends with all of that cast, those people. And I will listen to our cast album like regularly.
I don't blame you.
It was so good.
I don't blame you. Hey, you know what? I think it's important to peak early.
Yeah. That was it. That was really it for me. It was that
you were a Broadway level performer, and now you're interviewing cross-dressers on Zoom.
Trixie, thanks so much for doing this. This has been so fun.
Of course. I'm always honored on podcasts when I get to come back a second time. And I'm a big fan of you and Peter, so thank you for having me.
Yeah. Is there anything you want to plug? Anywhere people should be buying and
Yeah, you can check out my newest album, Barbara, on iTunes. You can watch, I like to watch on Netflix. You can watch on the Wow Presents Network. You can check out my YouTube channel, has a new video every single Monday. We have easy bake ovens and makeup. It's really a safe space to be an absolute fool. And then I just want to say my book, my book, New York Times bestseller, A Guide to Modern Womanhood, is available. And if I could plug one more thing, just one. At Trixie Cosmetics, we have launches all year. We've hired people all year through COVID. We've had such a wonderful year, and the makeup we have coming out is going to blow people's minds. Like, it's amazing. So please follow us.
That's really fucking cool that you're like a mogul now. Like, that's so exciting.
Yes, rich. Tell everyone I'm rich.
She's rich, honey. Thank you again. This has been a blast.
Sure.
And thank you, listeners.
Goodbye.
Bye.